Now this would be a nice place to spend the day with a picnic and a beer. Mostly what actually is cruising. I've already broken 3 drill bits today. We got stainless, we got a little cheap drill, and we don't have the best time. Coffs Harbour was a very rolly anchorage, but I did manage to get some projects done and meet some nice people, and then set off on the journey towards Illuka. I'm doing a bit of a rewire today, moving the nav lights from here, which on top of the cabin ends up lighting up the sails and ruining your night vision. And so I've done a complete rewire on the boats. There's no old wiring left in use, and I'm really glad, because look at this. Yeah, this is what was here before, and it's just rust. It's just corrosion, rather. So it's a good idea if you have an old boat to just strip out all the wires and start again. Like, it costs a bit of money, but it really gives you a lot of peace of mind. I'll show you my favorite of the things that we've found on here so far. Here we go. So here is the locker, where we use, like, store everything that we need close at hand, and also want to keep out of the cabin. And so it's mostly petrol, so it's sealed from the main boat, except look at this. This is a great place for to have a potential electric spark. Like, I guess it'll give you a potential burst of speed. It may be your last, but there it is. There's the old DC electrical panel that looks to be in a similar there we go, a similar state to our wires at the front. So this has been my worst average of speed so far on this trip, and that's because the wind hasn't been a thing. Setting off just after midnight, I passed my new friend Neo, who was coming back into Coffs Harbour after the expected winds hadn't arrived. Now it was early August though, and after many setbacks in the linen season, I needed to make some ground, and decided to motor for a couple of hours until hopefully the wind would start up again. So this is Northwest Solitary Island. It's part of the Solitary Islands chain. I passed South Solitary on the way in. Probably can't see it, but over in the distance, maybe about another 5 miles or 10 miles away, is North Solitary Islands, which are quite a long way out, and that's where apparently the diving is spectacular. This is a packraft, which is a small, like, inflatable white water boat, and they're really great in the surf. I take them out in the surf a lot, so I'm really comfortable in it in the ocean. And what I'm going to use this for is to firstly get me over to that little spit of sand there, through this little bit of water. It'd be so easy to swim, but I just have the heebie-jeebies about sharks. Well, this is pretty great. It's like a nice sandy beach a couple of miles from the ocean, next to this rocky atoll. Yeah, and so it's got a couple of beaches on both sides. And yeah, I saw some great, what looked like great snorkeling on the way in here. So I'm gonna put the boat out of harm's way and then go for a bit of a blast. Saw some massive crabs. There's tons of fish out there. Super clear. So what I'm gonna do now is, now I'm a little bit less scared of sharks. I'm gonna tie the boat to my foot and then swim back to the boat, the other boat. It's only a 1 meter northerly swell today, and it's already pretty hard to snorkel there. So I reckon in most conditions it wouldn't be very good. But if you do have a day without any much swell and not too much wind, it's certainly an interesting stop. Well, it's days like this that you certainly want an electric yacht. There's no wind, So it feels like it's trying to be windy. There's not enough. It's just like flopping around. But there's so much sun, which is good because my batteries are a bit low. It's been cloudy for a couple of days, so that's why I've got a little baby sail up at the front, because there's no wind, and I'm just trying to keep the shade off of that panel there. Thankfully around midday the wind picked up enough so I could sail the rest of the way. This was a delightful passage because it was next to Yuragir National Park, which was forested and beautiful the whole way. Unfortunately though, just as I was getting into Yamba, of course the wind did its thing. Been out here like 18 hours, and yeah, almost all of it has been so chill. And then you get in and you've got to try and like take down all the sails, and it's just so washy and you can't see anything, and the motor doesn't start, and there's a fishing ship coming for you, and you get covered in grease when you try and put the motor back in, because it's just like yeah, because it clicks to a setting that you haven't seen it do for ages. So it's really, really full on when it's full on, you know? It's like, ha 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 ha, I'm on this nice island, this is what I think about sailing, hee hee hee. And then it's so full on. Oh my God. And that might not even be the last of it. So now I've got a bar crossing, which is the real enemy. Like, coming to shore is the real enemy of ships, especially little ones by yourself. So after plenty more terror, I managed to get in safely. But a hot tip to anyone entering this waterway is this area circled in red is not actually mud or marsh or anything like that. It's a man-made pile of rocks, which you heaps don't want to get near. So yeah, after I got in safely, I met up with some old uni friends, which was really nice, and hung out with them and had a hot shower and a meal, which was much appreciated.